There are only two possibilities. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. These words by Arthur C. Clarke summarize one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Why, in a universe with billions of stars and planets, have we not found any signs of life? Are we truly alone, or is there something bigger behind this silence? In this video, we will explore the enigma known as the Fermi Paradox, which questions the absence of evidence for extraterrestrial life, despite its high probability. But that's not all. We will also present a disturbing theory that might answer this mystery, the dark forest hypothesis. Could it be that the silence in the cosmos is a deliberate choice by other civilizations to avoid something much more dangerous? Stay with me to discover why understanding this hypothesis could change our perspective on the universe and on ourselves. In 1950, during a casual lunch conversation with colleagues, physicist Enrico Fermi asked a simple yet profoundly unsettling question: where is everybody? He was referring to the apparent contradiction between the enormous probability of extraterrestrial life and the absence of any evidence for it. This question would come to be known as the Fermi Paradox, one of the most intriguing issues in modern science. Consider the numbers. Just in the Milky Way, there are more than 100 billion stars, many of which have planets in their orbits. The Drake equation, developed in the 1960s, tries to estimate the number of technological civilizations in the universe. Even with a conservative calculation, we should expect to find signs of life. So why haven't we found any? Imagine living in a gigantic city with billions of inhabitants, but never seeing or hearing anyone. This is the reality we face when we look at the cosmos. Are we alone? Or are there much darker reasons for this silence? On August 15, 1977, a radio telescope captured something extraordinary. A strong and brief radio signal coming from the direction of the Sagittarius constellation. Known as the WOW signal, its name came from the notation made by the researcher who discovered it, surprised by its intensity and peculiarity. The signal lasted only 72 seconds and was never detected again. Could it have been a message from extraterrestrials? Or just a natural phenomenon not yet understood? This event remains one of the most intriguing cases in the search for intelligent life. In the 1940s, scientific papers began speculating that radio waves could be an effective form of interstellar communication. The idea seemed logical. Radio frequencies travel vast distances through space and are relatively easy to detect. However, to this day, most detected signals have natural explanations, such as pulsars or terrestrial interference. But what if the silence is intentional? Some scientists suggest that signals like the WOW could be tests or carefully calculated messages designed not to reveal the location of the emitter. This deliberate silence raises another question. Are we being ignored or actively avoided? Imagine walking through a dense, dark, and silent forest. Every sound, every movement could mean life or death. In nature, predators hide, and prey remains silent to avoid being detected. Now, apply this metaphor to the cosmos. A vast and unknown universe where the survival of advanced civilizations depends on remaining hidden. This is the essence of the dark forest hypothesis. The idea suggests that intelligent civilizations may choose absolute silence as a survival strategy. Emitting signals into space could be the equivalent of shouting in a forest full of predators, exposing their location to more advanced and potentially hostile species. Thus, silence would not be the absence of life, but a universal pact of self-preservation. Human history offers disturbing parallels. When advanced civilizations made contact with less developed cultures, the results were often catastrophic for the latter. If this happens on our small planet, imagine what could occur on a cosmic scale. Perhaps the civilizations that dared to make contact were eliminated, and silence is the only proof of their existence. This hypothesis turns the Fermi Paradox into a question of ethics and survival. Could humanity, by sending signals into space, be inadvertently drawing the attention of cosmic predators? Or are we alone enough for the silence to be irrelevant? The Drake equation, formulated by astrophysicist Frank Drake in 1961, is an attempt to quantify the number of intelligent and communicative civilizations in our galaxy. It combines variables such as the number of stars formed, the fraction that has planets, the possibility of habitable planets, and the length of time these civilizations can emit detectable signals. Even with conservative values, the equation suggests we should find some evidence of life. But the dark forest hypothesis questions one of the fundamental assumptions of the equation: the willingness of intelligent civilizations to communicate. Although the numbers suggest a high probability of extraterrestrial life, survival may be more important than contact. Advanced civilizations may prefer to remain hidden, drastically reducing the chances of being detected. Another important point is time. The Drake equation assumes that technological civilizations may exist for short periods in cosmic terms. It may be that they arise, flourish, and disappear before we have the chance to find them. Thus, even if the calculations are correct, cosmic silence could be a reflection of civilizations that came and went, or chose to disappear into anonymity. This connection between statistical calculation and strategic behavior reveals an even more complex layer of the Fermi Paradox. Could the universe be full of life that chooses silence? Or are we the exception that has not yet learned the danger of drawing attention? One of the lesser discussed factors about cosmic silence is the role of resources. In the universe, as on Earth, resources are finite, and survival often depends on how they are managed. Advanced civilizations may compete for energy, rare materials, or even habitable space. In an interstellar competition scenario, silence could be a strategy to avoid conflict and preserve resources. Think about energy. Civilizations may depend on structures like the hypothetical Dyson sphere, which captures the total energy of a star. Building such a structure would require vast resources, and any contact with other civilizations could be interpreted as a direct threat to the survival of one or both. In this context, cosmic silence is not just an option but a necessity. Moreover, human behavior offers disturbing parallels. When we explore new territories, we often exhaust their resources, and frequently, we decimate life forms that already inhabit those places. If other civilizations view human behavior as a threat, destructive, competitive, and exploitative, wouldn't it be irrational to assume they would choose to avoid us or even hide? In this scenario, silence is not just a survival strategy, but an ethical statement. Living in isolation may be the only way to coexist peacefully in a universe where resources are limited and contact could lead to collapse. Technological civilizations, no matter how advanced, face existential challenges that can determine their survival or extinction. Among these challenges are natural disasters, climate change, wars, pandemics, and even technological advances that spiral out of control. The idea that civilizations may self-destruct before achieving an interstellar stage is one of the possible answers to the Fermi Paradox. The dark forest hypothesis adds a dark element to this equation. It suggests that advanced civilizations may go extinct by being detected by cosmic predators. Thus, even the most developed civilizations must navigate a delicate balance, advancing technologically without becoming visible. The pursuit of energy, expansion, and communication could be their undoing. Also, consider that advanced technology tends to make civilizations more interdependent and, paradoxically, more vulnerable. A small mistake or internal conflict can lead to global collapse, as we have seen in simulations done by scientists here on Earth. If we apply this on a cosmic scale, it wouldn't be surprising that many civilizations never achieve the longevity needed to establish interstellar contact. Silence, therefore, is not only a strategy against external threats but also a way to mitigate internal risks. Civilizations that survive may be those that choose isolation, not just to protect themselves from others, but from themselves. The dark forest hypothesis is not just a theory about cosmic silence. It raises profound questions about humanity's destiny. We are currently on the verge of becoming an interstellar civilization. We send probes, radio signals, and even maps indicating our location in the universe. But is that prudent? If the hypothesis is correct, our actions could make us vulnerable. So far, human behavior has been largely exploratory and competitive. As we expand beyond Earth, will we continue to replicate these patterns? If other civilizations are watching us, have we already been identified as a potential threat? Moreover, The hypothesis forces us to reflect on how we choose to manage our planet and our resources. If cosmic silence is a survival strategy, can we learn to avoid the mistakes of civilizations that may have self-destructed or been destroyed by others? Finally, the dark forest hypothesis challenges us to consider that humanity's future may not depend solely on technological advances, but also on ethical and strategic decisions. Perhaps the best way to ensure our survival is to learn to listen and observe before speaking. And, above all, to understand that in the universe, as in a dark forest, survival often depends on not being seen. The idea of a silent and deliberately hidden universe may seem terrifying, but it also offers a unique opportunity for reflection. The Fermi Paradox and the dark forest hypothesis confront us with fundamental questions. What does it mean to be alive in a vast and silent cosmos? What is our responsibility as a young technological civilization? Perhaps silence is not an absence but an invitation to humility. Instead of rushing to send signals into space, it might be wiser to observe, understand, and above all, learn from our history. If the universe is truly a dark forest, shouting into the void may be more dangerous than we imagine. Yet, silence is also proof of the unknown, and where there is the unknown, there is mystery and hope. Are we alone, or is there something waiting to be discovered? The answer, when it comes, may not only transform our view of the cosmos but also of ourselves. Until then, cosmic silence remains a reminder that, on the vast stage of the universe, we are still only in the first act. Thank you for watching this far and for exploring these ideas with me. Now, I leave the question to you. In such a vast universe, should we stay silent or try to make contact? The choice may define not only our future but that of all humanity.